Thanks for staying with us. It is What's Up and About, and it's so nice of you to finally join us, Mary.
So, you know, I take my time, pretty time, but really I apologize. I should have been here earlier.
I love your red lipstick, actually.
Thank you.
You
the
know,
rain also contributed.
Yes,
to the lot that
I saw it and I was wishing, oh, I wish I had a red lipstick on, because I think you'd go absolutely what I'm wearing.
It's okay. You look gorgeous. See your hair. Thanks,
hair,
gosh.
Thank you, my love.
This is what they call a mane. Mine. So nice.
Oh, yeah, it's okay. So don't do. Thank you.
Small compliment. Accept it gracefully.
No, but I actually do. You know that I always accept my compliments. I'm not one of those people that say, oh, you're looking good too. Hello, darling.
For sale. How far now? What's
I
happening?
do. So,
a lot is happening. I don't even know
where to begin. But
a part of me still wants to touch on this Didi's case that we talked about yesterday, but we'll leave it for yesterday. Didi. The update.
Okay. But then, there are still updates from the trial.
It's ongoing,
yeah,
so there will be plenty
right.
to unravel.
Right.
Yeah.
But then again, well, the one that is quite bothersome on a lot of, on a lot of our minds as parents also is the UTME controversy.
Yeah. That one.
I mean, it has given a lot of parents sleepless nights, especially because, there's anticipation for the results being out. Okay, my child would be, admitted into the university at least towards the end of the year, by September, and so then we get a report as at over 300,000 candidates were there were technicality issues, glitches, according to the JAMB registrar. Mr. Ishak Oloyede, Professor Ishak Oloyede, and there was a press conference 2 days ago. Yes, in the regard where he, addressed the issues, and then he apologized, and then he said that there would be a retake of the exams on the 16th of May,
which is tomorrow.
Which is tomorrow. So at least we are grateful. And that at least is being resolved. Exactly, they're taking responsibility, and this is being resolved. But then there was a certain issue that sort of caused an uproar last night, and that was the Twitter handle of the JAMB in its comments, or whether in its statements, it said, "Man proposes, God disposes."
Meaning.
And then, talked about how, the affected candidates and how, there's going to be a retake of the examination. And it caused a lot of stir on social media because people are like, man proposes, God disposes. What is God's role in candidates being denied or being affected in, with their scores? And, what does God have to do with, technical glitches that occurred? So,
as it is, when it comes to technical stuff, usually no one really has much control
over it. Exactly.
You can only try your best to ensure you contain the situation, but no one really has a lot of control on technical glitches. Sure. Now that that's established, this country, one thing we cannot deny is that many people are very religious. So the handler probably felt that was a good way to start. Maybe the handler was also looking for controversy, we don't know, but the handler probably decided that's the best way to start. And let's not forget, many of our government officials, when they are reading speeches or making pronouncements, they tend to use this man proposes, God disposes. But in text, it always comes out in a different way.
It comes out.
So if it was being said like a speech, one would probably excuse it. But it being written in text was probably why there was that uproar. Now, another thing about JAMB that is also bothering a lot of people is this. Now, the government already said that, oh, if you're not 18, you cannot get into university. And all that. We've always known there are special candidates that get in a lot earlier. Now, in this case, I was speaking to a parent who told me that, his child is 15 years old. And so that child wanted to, to get the to get to write the exam. Right. There were certain demands that were made. The dad was made to sign something, some document. She was made to write a special test and all of which went smoothly, and she was allowed to write JAMB. Right. Payment was made, of course, because JAMB isn't free. And then after JAMB had been written, the results were withheld. Why? Because she's 15 years old. Perhaps that is something else we would like an explanation from JAMB for, because if you've created certain modalities for special students. Now note, by special we're referring to geniuses. Right. Now you created special modules for them, yes, and they were able to carry it out successfully. Exactly why are they being disenfranchised? So
I think that also need, like you mentioned, I'm hoping that it would be addressed.
I hope so.
But then again, I would also like to think that as Nigerians, we don't read. We're always in a hurry to they go flounder now. They go, we're always lackadaisical about approaching some of these things, right? And it also so it goes on to affect even signing of documents, because I would like to believe that there were certain guidelines. But until it is being addressed, there's so much we can say about it in this regard. But then again, would like to hear Chef Mide's thoughts on this.
On the JAMB, right?
Sorry?
I said on the JAMB.
Yes.
One of my trainee got 180, and I know she could do better than that.
Right.
Wow. So is she one of those rewriting? Is her center affected?
No, I have not confirmed from her. Okay. But the thing is, just like the chairman took responsibility. Right. We can't blame him, but it should have been vetted before. Something that is a nationwide something.
Right.
So it's really appalling, and it has always been like that. It's just because somebody decided to take it up and bring it to the social media. If not, this is how a lot of students would have.
It's been happening like that every year. That people bring it on social media, but nothing is done.
Yeah.
Nothing.
So this is the first time that it's been properly addressed.
Yes,
with
because
an apology.
A lot of people are now
affected.
Yes, a lot of people are affected, and they're not speaking up.
Right.
If not, a lot of people would just have to rewrite again.
Because this actually affected a lot of some centers in Lagos State and over 5 other centers in, 5 other southern eastern states as well. So I mean, it's definitely caused for an uproar.
Yes, there are some cases where people will write JAMB for 7 times, 5 times, and JAMB is still jamming them.
In fact,
how many times did you write JAMB though?
I wrote JAMB twice, and there was a reason.
Right.
So the first time I wrote JAMB, and I gained admission, I was told I couldn't go to school. My grandpa said I was too young
to go to the university at that age.
University. So I wrote it again, and he said I'm too young, and I said, Grandpa, I love you, but I'm going to school.
But then again,
it was a tussle. By the time I forced my way that I must go at that time. Right. Unfortunately, I had lost the admission I got, so I had to settle for something else, and that was it.
Yeah. Because we've also seen cases where just so that, if in some cases some parents would say to avoid embarrassment in the case where a child doesn't meet up with the cutoff mark of the particular university that they have applied at, that they would like to go to, they resort to sending them to private universities, and then at the end of the day, so for some of these parents who cannot keep up with the school fees, then they have to struggle through it, or you see some of these children having to drop out. And I'm saying this why, because if, for example, I remember back then in school, I had some of my friends who had to drop out because their parents, couldn't meet up with, the fees anymore. Especially when you want your child to study courses like medicine or law or engineering. Those courses can be very demanding, or pharmacists, you know, or med lab science. You know, those school fees are, we'll call them special school fees because they're quite expensive, you know, and then you have these students dropping off, and then some of them still now have to go back
and start all
over again, having to write JAMB and waiting, and then, you know, having to now go back to, you know, whether it's the federal or state university.
You are never too old. Even if you've written JAMB like 10 times, if your plan is to actually get a degree, then go ahead. And apart from that, even if your plan is not to get a degree, you just want to keep, you know, trying. Let's also keep in mind that while you're trying, you can also engage in other things, learn it, you know, learn a skill,
learn a skill.
Keep yourself busy. At some point, you even start making enough money to be able to pay your tuition. So
I agree.
It will not be a case of, your mates have graduated, you are still coming to me for school fees, which happens to some people.
And thankfully, the digital space has provided a lot of opportunities for young people to, you know, to thrive, regardless whether it doesn't. I'm not saying you should not go to school. Go to school is very important. It's important. You have to go to school, regardless. But it doesn't take away from, you know, learning a skill just so that you can earn something while you are, you know, during that waiting period at home. And then there's another conversation I wanted us to have, but then we have to go. And that has, because I mean, you applied for JAMB at a very younger age, and then you could have been in school, but because of certain, I see a lot of young people now, you know, being admitted into university.
At 17,
and
18, from private universities.
I would really like to know how they peel through the university.
It's like scaling through anything, really.
Yeah, I understand, but then I would also like to believe that also builds your resilience emotionally and mentally.
Well, to a large extent. To a large extent, there are so many factors. There's so many factors, but hey,
we have to go.
Go right now. We're taking a break. You're watching Wake Up Nigeria. Stay with us. We'll be right back.